Hello and welcome, or welcome back to the Greedy Finance podcast. This is episode 5 and I'm a full-time biologist from Vilnius, Lithuania and also a dedicated knitter. I really like talking about knits and knitting, that's why I'm here, and I really appreciate you being here and spending your cozy time with me. Today it's going to be a regular knitting podcast episode with finished objects, works in progress, and a little bit of acquisitions because recently I have been visiting Warsaw and I could not get away from there without knitting related purchases, and I want to show them off at the end of this episode. So if you are interested, please grab yourself a drink, a knitting project maybe, or whatever else which you need to make yourself cozy, and let's start. I would like to start with finished objects. Today I have 3 finished objects and 2 of them are socks and 1 is a scarf, and first in a row will be the socks, and exactly the ones which could be already considered as the veterans of being on my needles. And in particular, these are Warsaw socks by the pattern of Saga Norland. These are very feminine, elegant and lacy socks, actually lacy and textured, and they featured with this beautiful, most recognizable stitch combination of sari, which she used a lot in her poet sweater and poet socks and also in the Warsaw socks. So when I saw this pattern page in Ravelry, I immediately fell in love. And of course, the socks are beautiful, and the construction was the one which I like the most because they're supposed to be knitted from the cuff down towards to the toes. They featured with French heel. And this combination is my beloved regarding to the socks. So I was really optimistic when I casted them on what can go wrong, but then reality happened. First of all, I casted them on at winter time, and at winter I have such a situation like when I'm leaving home to work, it's yet dark. And when I'm coming back from work to home, it's already dark. So it's not very suitable to knit very lacy patterns. Second factor that I decided to knit them with beautiful yarn, but also very dark one. And the third thing is that the pattern itself is absolutely amazing, but this combination of lace and texture, it's not the one which is memorizable that easy. It's not the one which you can knit while watching TV or chatting. You have to stay concentrated when you knit those socks. You have to check the pattern quite often. So all these 3 factors together led to the kind of slow project, slow knitting. And then another dramatic thing happened. If you watch the episode 4, you remember that when I was showing you the second sock, I dropped quite a few stitches, and of course I made it look like no, everything is under control, nothing bad happened, it's just a few drop stitch. But truly, it was catastrophic. It was fatal to that second sock. I had to unravel it completely and start it all over again from the scratch. And at that moment, I was mad at myself. I was mad of these socks, and I was thinking, like, okay, I will complete the second sock, but never again I will cast on another pair of Warsaw socks. Never ever again. But then something unexpected happened. I don't know, maybe this pattern somehow clicked in my head. Maybe subconsciously I got its logic. I have no idea what happened, but this second sock, when it was started all over again from the scratch, it just flew off my needles very fast. And now I'm kind of finding myself on a dangerous point of thinking about casting on another pair of Versa socks. Well, maybe with a lighter yarn. But joking away, yeah, I will show this socks to you. And again, I will show this beautiful combination of stitch and lace. It's recognizable pattern of satin. And what should I say about this pattern? This pattern is truly amazing because it has both chart and written instructions, and they're quite detailed. They're very clear to understand. The pattern offers the possibility to knit more slouchy socks or more tied ones. I choose more tied ones, and also you can start with a tubular cast on if you want to. Well, I didn't. Well, regarding the yarn, I don't have leftovers. I use them for something else to knit. But the yarn which I use to knit these beautiful socks is Amber Tone Yarns Classic Sock yarn, which is 75% of superwash merino wool and 25% of synthetic fibers. And Amber Tone Yarns is a local yarn dyer, indie dyer. A very lovely young lady. She has her own channel on YouTube, and also she has a shop on Etsy, and I link down below both the shop and her channel, so you can see and learn more about her yarns and about her knits, because she's also a dedicated knitter. Well, the second pair of socks, it's a different type of socks. These are like ribbed, I would say, socks maybe. These are heel hugger socks from DROPS Design Studio. And this time I knit them not from DROPS but from a raw one sock yarn, which I got as a gift from my knitting friend Olena. The socks were done much faster than the Versa socks, which is understandable because the pattern is not that complicated. The back of the sock is ribbed, as you could see, and the front part of the sock is mostly stockinette. I also modified this pattern because I made a French heel here instead of one which was suggested in the pattern, and the reason for that was highly scientific and professional. No, of course, I was just knitting them in a train from Vilnius to Warsaw and back from Warsaw to Vilnius, and I didn't want to check the pattern like quite often all the time, like dealing with this printed papers. So I decided to make the heel by the way which I knew the most. The reason why I chose this particular pattern for this yarn is because this yarn itself is really beautiful. As you can see, it has like transition of the different shades of blue, which can make the game pretty much by themselves. So I decided that if to choose a pattern where it's like already going on too much, it can override the beauty of the yarn. And I want to tell a couple of words about the yarn. Again, this is raw sock yarn. It's 75% of wool and 25% of synthetic fiber, and it sounds like pretty much standard contents for the sock yarn. But when the socks were washed, the feeling of touch became really unusual. They're incredibly soft and smooth, and it actually gives you a feeling even like you touch a velour. This is amazing, so thank you, Olena, for this beautiful yarn. Again, the socks are supposed to be knitted from the calf down to the toes. The heel is French, as I already mentioned, and the pattern is half ribbed and half stockinette. It's really fast to make. So it was enough time for me to knit them in a train in both directions. So that was quite a fast and pleasurable knit. And my third finished object is a scarf, but I don't have it with me today because it was a gift for my colleague Olena, and I already gave it to her. In the previous episode, I told the whole backstory. First, I knitted the Twigly scarf by Jennifer Weissman, I guess. Yes, Jennifer Weissman, to my dear colleague Simona, which is a very nice person, and I wanted to make a Christmas gift for her. But then I realized that Simona has a friend, Olena, which is also colleague, both of me and of Simona, and the friends and the colleague of mine. So I was thinking maybe it's kind of not fair to make a scarf for one friend and not to make a scarf for another friend. And now each of them has their own Twigly, just in different colors. And yes, I don't have the scarf with me right now, but I made a video about it, which I'm going to share with you now. Scarf version is finished now, and I'm trying to show it. I hope the structure will be clearly seen. You can see this kind of central diamond of the scarf and both of the wings. And each of the wings ending with this cute leafy tip. And each of these cute leafy tips has a little fenestration, or would it be correctly to say hole. When Olena will be draping her scarf around the neck, she could easily fix its position simply by pulling one tip through such a fenestration on another tip, and this is very suitable on my point of view. And another suitable feature of this scarf is its reversibility. I really like that it's possible to wear this scarf on both sides. I really like it. Well, this scarf is made with DROPS lemma. This is a blend of alpaca and wool, 65% of wool and 35% of alpaca. Each ball is 50 grams and 100 meters. And this particular colorway is called rock moss, or the number of it is 7810. I hope that Olena will like her scarf. I really hope. Well, I will let you know. Should I mention that I also have my own Twigly scarf, but that one was made several years ago. This is beautiful wintry accessory which keeps us warm and stylish at a time, and it has very interesting construction, as you probably already realized from the video. And the pattern itself is very nice. It's nicely written, it's clear. It may seem to be complicated a little bit from the first look, but just trust the instructions and follow them attentively, and you'll get a rewarding result. Well, but this is concluding, I guess, the section of finished object, and we can proceed to the works in progress. Surprisingly, this time I don't have many works in progress in my needles, only 3 of them, which is pretty much unusual for me, and it sounds slightly disturbing. Maybe it's a sign of emotional instability, or maybe it's opposite, emotional stability. I don't know what is more dangerous for a knitter. Well, actually, I attempted to start a 4th project, but so far the relations didn't go beyond the swatching. I will tell about it a little later. Let's start first with the official works in progress. And the first one in a row is a garden pullover by the pattern of Stick. And this is relaxing and slightly oversized pullover, featured with a v-neck and also with some kind of lacy texture. And last time when I was showing it to you, I completed the body, and now I already finished one sleeve and I'm in the middle of a second sleeve, and it goes smooth with no major problems, actually with no problems at all. And I'm knit in size 2. And what yarn I'm using, actually this issue I guess deserves a separate discussion for a little bit at least. First of all, the pattern itself suggests to use a fingering yarn held together with more hair, but I decided to go on my own way, and instead I'm using DK weight yarn with no more hair. And this yarn is DROPS Soft Tweed in a color number 03. This is the first thing which I wanted to tell about the yarn. And the second thing is that recently I saw a video of a Norwegian knitter. I guess that's how this channel called. And I'm not a subscriber of her, but somehow YouTube decides that I need this information in my life. And this video was a review of different kinds of drops yarns, and I decided to watch it. And actually, I agree with her opinions on most of the drops yarn except soft tweed. She said that she rather had an frustrating experience knitting with drops soft tweed yarn, because it was hard on her hands, and also the garment grew a lot with white. I mean, it became wider much more after washing. And another knitters commented under this video that they also had a bad experience, that they struggled while knitting with drops soft tweed yarn, which was a little bit surprising for me. Well, first of all, I'm really sorry that they had such a negative experience knitting with these yarns, and of course I understand and I totally accept that we all are different people, different knitters with different preferences, with different knitting style, and with different expectations from the yarn. I totally respect this. I totally respect that each knitter has its own opinion on any kind of yarns. So do I. I also have my own opinion. And right now I want to advocate a little bit for the soft tweed by drops, because I am subjectively, personally, I really like this yarn, and I knitted several sweaters with that and several accessories. I'm knitting this sweater, the garden pullover, with that yarn, and I didn't have any major problems knitting with this yarn. Yes, it is gross after blocking but appropriate swatching solved this problem perfectly for me. This is the first thing. And the second thing, I don't know, I never felt hard on my hands knitting with this yarn, but my feelings could be shifted because in parallel I knit with a very rustic yarn of dog undercoat fur, and this is rustic yarn, and this one is really hard on the hands, and compared to this dog yarn, knitting with soft tweed is just, I don't know, knitting like with whipped cream. That's my personal opinion again. And the garments which I made with the soft tweed yarn are really durable. They don't peel, and yes, they grew a little bit maybe after first washing, but after second, third, and whatever else washing, they didn't change in size. And I wash them in wash machine on the delicate cycle, of course. And also I have to mention that this yarn is quite budget friendly. But again, this is my personal opinion, and I respect other people's opinions, and I really would love to know your opinions about this yarn. If you had an experience knitting with that, could you please share it with me in comments or, I don't know, private messages on Instagram. Did you like it? Was it hard? Was it pleasant or not? Please feel free to comment. I always find the the information about yarns and opinion about yarns fascinating. Okay, so let's move to another works in project. Oh, I forgot to mention that tweed, soft tweed of drops is a decay weight yarn, and it is, I guess, 50% of superwash merino. Oh, no, not the superwash merino. It's 50% of merino wool, 25% of alpaca, and 25% of viscose. I should be showing the bowl to you, but right now I dropped it on the floor, so I cannot show it to you. And I will add the picture of it somewhere in the screen. Sorry for that. So now we are moving to another works in project, which is already mentioned. Jacket or cord from the dog yarn. For those who first time here, I just repeat the brief backstory. Several years ago at the crafts market, I bought a yarn, a special one, which is made of dog's undercoat fur. This kind of fur is being collected with the brushing of dogs, so no dogs are suffering during this project. During this process, no dogs are secretly being turned into knitting supplies. Don't worry, actually my dog is really enjoying when I'm brushing her. So this is the yarn, how it looks in a bowl. It's, I guess, something like iron weight yarn. It's quite rustic when you touch it in the bowl, and it's even more rustic when you make a fabric. The fabric is actually really stiff. It gives you a feeling like store-bought cord fabric. It's not draping. It's stiff, as I already told you. And actually that's why I decided to make a cord out of it. And on Pinterest I found a picture which inspired me a lot. I'll put this picture somewhere on the screen just to remind you what is expected to be like. But I found the picture and did not find an explanation and description how to knit this cord, even though this picture is definitely from the knitting magazine. Maybe it's French one, I guess it is French magazine. So as soon as I could not find a description, a pattern, I had to figure it myself how to knit this cord. And I'll show you what I already did. First of all, I casted it on from the bottom. I started it from the bottom and I'm going towards to the top. And I casted many stitches because here we have together the back part and both front panels. Okay, I casted them all together, just separated at that time with the stitch markers, and I knit them in that big piece until I reach the underarm point. And at that point I'm separating this on 3 parts, on 2 front panels which I put on scrap yarn, and the back part. And the back part is already finished, and I did kind of shoulder shaping, I attempted to do, and a little bit of neck shaping also. So I was also kind of a scientific discussion in my Saturday knitting club with other knitters. How should I perform the sleeves? Should I sew them in, or should I just pick up stitches around the armholes? And we decided the majority of voices, let's say, was just for pick up in stitches around the armhole, because as soon as this fabric is quite stiff, that sewing in may give it kind of like really, I don't know, hard shape, like, I don't know, medieval armor clothes or something like that. So I decided to go a simpler way. But well, sleeves will be my future problem. The current problem with this project is to figure out how to make the front panels in order to achieve this beautiful, dramatically looking color. So as you could see, the easiest part is done with this dog quad project, and the hardest is yet to be in future. Just to remind you that I'm kind of using a moss stitch as a major pattern for this dog quad. And now the last work in progress, and this one is small. And the third work in progress actually has also its backstory. The sister of my husband, her name is Natalia, she is a big fan of BTS, and she asked me to knit her something with BTS logo, and I never knew before her asking what BTS are, who they are, what are they doing, and I decided to Google them, and now I feel myself like a dinosaur because apparently they are enormously popular. This is South Korean boys band, which is very loved in different parts of world. They are, as I already told, enormously popular. They are young, they are stylish, they have very sweet faces. A little bit not on my taste because my forever crush is Kevin Costner, and this not going to change anytime soon. But I always respect other people's passion, and Natalia is so dedicated that she even started to learn Korean language because of this boy band. And such a dedication, on my point of view, deserves respect, and it also deserves a knitted gift, surely. So I decided to knit something small for her, and first I decided to check the logo. And thanks God, the logo of BTS is not that complicated. It looks manageable for knitting by intarsia or maybe by embroidery with a duplicate stitch. So that's why I decided to make her first fingerless mitts with that BTS logo. And what I got here, I made so far only one mitten, and second one is yet to be done. I didn't use any kind of special patterns, I just made really simple vanilla, if possible to say so, mitten. It's mostly done with a stockinette, with a ribbing at the edges, and the thumb you can knit however you prefer, because the main attention goes here, I guess, around the logo, and I hope that the letters are reflecting in the correct way on the screen. Just in case, I will put photographs also at the screen, and maybe I should show how it looks on the hand, something like that. Not sure if I just correct colors, but this is my first try of knitting something with BTS symbols. And what kind of yarns I used? There are two yarns. The first one, I suppose it is a Flora yarn by DROPS. I don't remember the contents exactly because I lost the paper label, the paper tag. It's not with me anymore. I'm really bad with paper tags, sorry. So I will write down the exact fiber contents on the screen, but as I remember, this is a blend of wool and alpaca. And another yarn, this yarn I used for duplicate stitching, and this is Admiral Melange by Wally Chopin. Yes, and the colorway Blue Melange. This is a sock yarn, 75% of wool and 25% of synthetic fibers, pretty much standard content for sock yarn. This again I used for the duplicate stitches. So now I can tell you a story about my attempt to start fourth project. If you watched the episode 3, you probably remember that I was going to knit a mini slipover by the pattern of Quing. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly because I'm not experienced with Vietnamese names and she's Vietnamese. And the Ame slipover is absolutely beautiful, feminine, lacy, airy, layering piece for the warmer times. As you can see, this slipover is extremely lacy. And I got this pattern as a gift and I fall in love with it. This is a paid pattern, so I cannot share a lot, but I can tell you that the designer is really smart. She did a very smart thing. Before the instructions how to make the slipover, she inserted the instructions how to make a swatch, and these instructions are very detailed. It has a chart in actual size of a swatch, and it also has a written description row by row how to knit the swatch. And of course I made the swatch exactly according to her instructions. I will try to show it. Hope the camera will focus. But I also made a video about the swatch, a short one, and I want to share this video with you now. This is my sample for the Ame slipover. As you can see, this is severe lace. I would say this is hardcore lace even. And I really appreciate the designer suggests to make exactly this kind of sample, because it's not only helps you to check your gauge, but also it makes you to think twice. Do you really still want to struggle with all that hardcore lace? Do you still really want to knit this heavily lace slipover? Well, I do. I still want to knit this, no matter what. Well, at that moment I have only a swatch finished, and I'm postponing this for some time because next week I'm turning 50 years old. My god, it sounds shocking when I'm pronouncing it. And to celebrate surviving half a century, my family, we decided to have a trip to Prague. And I guess knitting project with this severe lace, that would be a little too engaging for travel, as well as taking something huge like a dog jacket. So right now I am in a little bit of crisis because I have to take some knitting with me to that travel, and I have no idea. I am in absolute paralysis stage, like project selection paralysis. Let's hope I will recover in a couple of days and I will pick something up to take with me to that trip. Well, then let's move to the acquisition section. As I already mentioned, recently I've been visiting Warsaw, Poland. I have been meeting with my dear knitting friend Olena over there. The very same Olena which gifted me a Rowan sock yarn and also yarn and tweed for my white lacy cardigan from the episode 1. And she also gifted me many other knitting dictations. And of course this time, being irresponsible knitters, we exchanged it with gifts again. And this time Olena gifted me this yarn. This is Baby Yak of Yarna. Yarna is Ukrainian brand, I believe, but the yarns are produced in 6 or 7 different countries like Italy, Turkey, Peru, and this particular yarn is produced in Italy. This is 50% yak content and 50% of alpaca, and I really like yarns which contain yak fibers, and I like alpaca as well. I'm luckily not allergic to it at all, though this combination is like perfectly designed for me. And also this beautiful color 696 is also called blue jeans. And if you watched my podcast previously, you already know that I have slight addiction to the blue shades, and in particular to the denim colorways. So this just a perfect gift for me. And this yarn comes in 50-gram balls. Each ball is also 175 meters, and I got 6 balls altogether. So now I'm on a stage of finding a perfect project for this yarn, which means opening Ravelry 57 times per day probably, and being emotionally attached to the 12 different patterns. Well, maybe that will be something I will take with me to my celebration trip. And also Olena made me another heart-touching gift. She knitted socks for me herself. Look how beautiful they are. They featured with a ribbed pattern, and I believe that this heel is a boomerang heel, and this beautiful green color and very gentle glittery strips, which give the socks like girlish vibe. I like girlish vibe, even though I am like already living half of St. John's Earth, but still. And I don't know what particular pattern she used and what particular yarn she used, but these socks, they fit perfectly and they feel so wonderful to wear. I'm really pleased, I'm really touched, and thank you, Olena, and thank you for being my knitting friend. But of course, again, we are responsible knitters, as I already mentioned, and we could not miss visiting a yarn shop, at least one. And this time we went to the shop called Farb Yarnia. It's very small, but it's also very cozy shop with a wonderful owner. She's a very sweet lady. She dyes yarn herself, and if you are into hand-dyed yarns, this shop is definitely fair to visit. Okay, and what I got from them, this beauty. This base called Olena, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which means shiny, and the content is 75% of superwash merino, 25% of nylon, and 5% of stellina. And probably stellina is given this subtle shine, kind of glitter. And it's 100 gram and 400 meters. So this is very also tempting to start as soon as possible, and maybe that will be the one which I'll take with me to the trip and try to cast on socks. Just need to find a perfect pattern for it, as always, you know. And another treasure which I get from them is this one. This base called Kudwata, and it is 63% of alpaca, 30% of silk, and 7% of merino wool, and it's very, very, very thin. So probably I'll try to show you, but maybe I won't be successful. Probably I will use it adding to another yarn in the manner which I regularly use mohair. For example, I will hold it together with a fingering yarn or the cane yarn. Well, shall see. I don't know yet how and when I will use it. I just never knitted with yarn bases like that, and I was really willing to try. That's why I bought this little beauty. And as you already noticed, I don't have paper tag again. So I don't know the color name, but this beautiful aquamarine, I would call it like that. I guess this is it for the acquisition section and for the episode itself. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing your time with me. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking the like button or subscribing or writing the comment. Each of these actions will help channel to be more visible, and of course each of these actions will warm up my heart and soul a lot. Have a wonderful day and stay safe, stay cozy, of course happy knitting, and I hope to see you again here in the Greedy for Knits podcast. Bye.